The building stood like a forgotten relic, its vintage charm irresistible. My apartment, 5B, had high ceilings, drafty windows, and a faded floral wall that felt colder than the rest. The place was quiet, almost too quiet. The elevator groaned, pipes clanged, and the other tenants were nearly invisible. At first, the silence felt peaceful, but soon it became a watchful, suffocating presence. Sometimes I'd stand in my living room and feel the air press in, as if the apartment itself was alive. I was starting to realize I wasn't just living in the apartment was living around me. The scratching started on the third night, faint and rhythmic, coming from the wall I shared with 6B. At first it was so subtle I thought I'd imagined it a trick of the old building, or maybe the wind. But as the hours crept by, the sound persisted, weaving itself into the silence of the night. At first I blamed mice or the building settling, but the sound grew louder, more deliberate, like fingernails dragging on wood. It was as if someone or something was trying to get my attention, scratching out a message only I could hear. I knocked on the wall. The scratching stopped, then a slow, soft thump echoed back. My heart pounded as I waited, breath held, for another sign. The silence that followed was almost worse than the noise. Sleep became impossible. The noise moved up and down the wall as if something was trying to get out or in. Every night the pattern changed, sometimes frantic, sometimes slow, but always there, just beneath the surface. My days blurred with exhaustion. Every creak and clang made me jump. I started to dread the evenings, knowing the scratching would return as soon as the sun set. The apartment felt less like a home and more like a cage. The walls seemed to close in, heavy with secrets I couldn't decipher. I tried sleeping on the couch, but the scratching followed, a constant, unnerving whisper. No matter where I went, it was always there, just out of sight, just out of reach. It wasn't just a noise anymore, it was a message. Sometimes I thought I saw shapes or symbols in the plaster, as if the wall itself was trying to speak. I was terrified of what it was trying to say. The fear grew each night, twisting my thoughts, making me question what was real and what was imagined. And I couldn't escape it. The whispers in the plaster had become a part of me, haunting every moment, every breath, until I no longer knew where the wall ended and I began. One morning, as I stepped into the hallway, the door to 6B creaked open with a slow, uneasy groan that seemed to echo down the corridor. A pale, exhausted woman stared at me, her eyes ringed with sleeplessness, her movements hesitant. This was Anna, my neighbour, though I'd never seen her up close before. She whispered, "You're new," her voice barely audible, as if afraid someone else might hear. When I replied that I lived in 5B, a flicker of fear darted across her face, her gaze darting nervously to the wall behind her. "Do you hear it at night? The noise? From the wall?" she asked, her words trembling, as if she dreaded the answer. I just nodded, unsure what she meant, and a wave of despair washed over her face, making her look even more haunted and fragile. Before I could ask more, a sudden violent crash from inside her apartment made her flinch. her whole body tensing in fear. "Be careful," she whispered urgently, her eyes wide. "Don't stay in your room, not after midnight, promise me." Without another word, she vanished behind her door, shutting it quickly and leaving me standing alone in the silent, oppressive hallway. Her warning echoed in my mind, a chilling premonition that made the shadows seem deeper, and the silence far more threatening than before. Anna's words haunted me, echoing in my mind long after she'd whispered them in that trembling voice. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong, that her warning was more than just paranoia. That night I found a note outside my door. The wall isn't a wall. The paper was cold, almost damp, and the words looked rushed, desperate. It was nearly midnight, and the hallway outside was silent except for the faint hum of the building's old pipes. I wanted to run, to pretend I hadn't seen it, but curiosity rooted me in place. My heart pounded as I stared at the note, unable to look away. I stood in my bedroom, staring at the wall as the clock struck 12. At first, nothing happened. The silence was so complete, it felt unnatural, as if the whole building was holding its breath. Then, the scratching returned louder, frantic, like nails clawing from the other side. The sound was unmistakable, and it sent chills racing down my spine. This time, I saw the wallpaper ripple, as if something beneath was trying to break through. The movement was subtle at first, but quickly grew more violent. The floral pattern twisted, the wall bulged and sank, breathing in the moonlight. It looked alive, pulsing with a slow, unnatural rhythm that made my skin crawl. I watched, paralyzed, as a dark stain spread and a human shape pressed against the paper-thin surface. The outline was unmistakable. A face, hands, straining to break free as if someone was trapped inside the wall itself. I screamed, stumbled out, and fled the apartment into the night, my breath ragged and my mind reeling. The cold air outside felt like a slap, but I didn't dare look back. The next morning, after a sleepless night, I called the police about Anna. My voice shook as I tried to explain what I'd seen, but I could tell they didn't believe me. But 6B was empty, no furniture, no sign of life. The room felt colder than the rest of the building, as if it had been abandoned for years. Just my name, written in what looked like dried blood on the floor. That was all that remained, a warning, or perhaps a promise, that the wall was never just a wall. I moved out that day, leaving everything behind. My new place was modern, clean and safe, or so I thought. As I arrived, the landlord handed me the keys. My new apartment number 6B. I stood in the hallway, dread washing over me. So, let me ask you, if you were me, would you go inside? Would you sleep there if you heard scratching behind your wall? Like and subscribe for more stories.